Okay, so you might be focused on something behind me, but what are you really focused on? Are you focused on this? Because what you should be focused on is what I'm standing on. This is one of my rental properties, and this rental property pays for this, and it pays for a bunch of other stuff that's just luxury. You need to have your assets pay for your luxuries. And really, at the end of the day, it's all about building up wealth for future generations. Isn't that right, little buddy? Yeah, that's right. Mwah. Start building generational wealth today. Visit topfundmanager.com. Welcome to the Money Play.
We give you the game.
So you can run the play.
My name is Maja Sly.
My name is Justin Giles. And listen, okay, so I'm super excited. I don't know if you're super excited.
I have fan hands right now.
Okay.
I have fan hands right now.
We are super excited, guys, because this entire show, all this here is for you. This is literally about teaching you guys plays so you can run them. We have created this show so you can change your life.
Change your life.
Okay? So we have brought literally multi-millionaires from across the globe. And of course, I mean, you know, concentrated here in the US, but we got people coming from all over, right? They're gonna be giving you guys their strategies in their specific industries. And guess what? We're no different. Maja and I are also, you know, and I'm a humble guy, I know she's humble, but we also are multi-millionaires as well. And we built our businesses, you know.
On our backs.
Yes.
On our backs.
Like I got a hernia right now.
This ain't easy.
It's not. But like I said, we wanted to be around like-minded millionaires as well so that we can give you guys these plays so you can achieve these financial goals yourself. So I wanted to start off because I feel it's good to have ladies first.
Oh, that's what it is.
Ladies I want first. To know, and also this is one thing I must say, I have admired this young lady for a long time, and I'm from Atlanta, and she was one of the first young millionaire women that I've seen, and she inspired me. And I know at home she's gonna inspire you. So I just wanted to kind of kick it off, and like I said, do ladies first. Maja, just explain to people who you are, where you come from, and I am gonna ask you a lot of questions on how you actually built your empire.
Oh, wow.
So, but let's just start from the top. So just introduce yourself, like who are you, where are you from, you know, like your background. Like I know you grew up in Panama City, Florida.
Panama City, Florida, not Panama. So yeah. My name is Maja Sly. I am born and raised in Panama City, Florida, and I am a serial entrepreneur. So it's interesting you say you followed me, but it's so crazy. You know how long I followed you. I think we were like IG cousins before
we met on Instagram,
We
guys.
met on Instagram in the DM, and I would always repost your stuff. You would repost my stuff, and we never met. And I was like, that's my spirit animal. So I'm so happy that we're able to bring this show on this platform so that other entrepreneurs can see. When we say multimillionaires, we use money in context. We don't just talk about money to cap, because it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And It's a journey. And how we got here is no easy feat. Yeah. And I don't like to leave out the parts where we screwed up, where we got skinned alive. And I think that's part of the journey in being a great entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure. And what's crazy is that a lot of people strive to be like, hey, you know, I want to make this amount of money.
Right.
And people always claim to be millionaires and all this type of stuff. And we're not saying that this show is here to throw certain stuff in your face or say, hey, you know, these people are on this high level. No, everything about this show is so that we can actually reach, so that we can put you guys on the pedestal, so maybe you can even be better and more amazing than the people we even bring on this show. Right? Yeah. We want you guys to elevate to the next level and pass this information on to your kids and their kids' kids, so that way we can really help and change something that really needs to be done for quite a long time.
Yeah, and I'm so happy you started with kids, because I said, you know what? With the Money Play, we're going to have a Money Play Kids edition, because I started my first business at 10 years old. I made my first $500 at 10 years old.
$500 at 10 years old?
10 years old.
Okay, so let's talk about,
10 years old.
Go ahead and tell them the journey. Like, I need to hear this journey. So how did you become this amazing, successful, you know, businesswoman? Like, I got to hear it.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it came from, I didn't choose entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship chose me, and a lot of it was out of desperation. I grew up in poverty, and I always used to tell my family, I was like, I'm not poor. You guys are. I just live here because I didn't choose this life.
Right.
So I decided very early that I couldn't live there. I was like, this isn't for me. Like,
And now there was a trailer, right? This
Oh,
is like she
yeah.
grew up in a trailer in Panama City.
I'm a black girl from a trailer park.
So you don't hear many black women from trailer parks. Like, I don't think I've ever met a black woman that lived in a trailer park, just to be honest.
You might not have, but now you know one that's about to own one. So
Wow.
I'm building a mobile home park now. But that's just part of the story, and I think a lot of people don't realize that it's all of the things that happen to you. They're not happening to you, they're happening for you.
Guys, side note.
Yeah.
She's building a mobile home park. I just want you guys to understand something. When I worked on Wall Street in investment banking, mobile home parks make billions and billions of dollars per year. That's a huge multi-billion-dollar industry.
All the
just
money.
Side note, she
All the money.
scaved over that, but she's making a mobile home park. Just so you know who you're dealing with, please continue.
But it was vision, and it was, if I hadn't grown up in a mobile home park, I wouldn't have even had the foresight to even think to build one, because I knew that the landlord didn't have any responsibilities at all. You care for your own grounds. But for me, my journey really started out of coming from very, very humble beginnings. My mom was in and out of prison my entire life. So my uncle, people think my grandmother raised me. I live with my grandmother. My uncle raised me.
Wow.
So my uncle was loud, proud, waving the flag before it was politically correct. So he was out of the closet and living life on his own terms. And he taught me super early that you own whatever it is, and don't ever let anybody shame you with your stuff.
Amen
So get ahead of your story, tell your story first. So my mom being in and out of prison, I thought that was something that I had to carry.
Right.
And one day I came home from the playground, and I said, they said my mom's in prison. He said, she is.
Now, how old were you when you realized your mom was in prison?
I realized it the entire time. I used to always say my mom lives in Miami. I left out the part
What age, though? Like, how old were you when she went to prison?
First time at 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were young.
Yeah, I was young. So my mom was in and out of prison from 5, and she died at 13. So, exactly. So
Your mom passed away when you were 13?
When I was 13. But the bigger part of that story is, if my mom had been 10% better, my grandmother would have never taken me to raise me, because she just didn't have first of all, she couldn't even afford it.
Right.
But I always say that God will make a provision. And for me, that's what he did with my grandmother. She inherited a child. She was not trying to my grandma was popping. Like, she was like, wait, what?
Right.
But she loved me more than she could even imagine. And for that, I'm forever indebted. So my mobile home park will be named in her honor. She was the first woman in her family to purchase a home, and all she could afford was a mobile home.
What's your grandmother's name?
Annie. So it's going to be Miss Annie's.
Nice.
And but because my grandmother worked so much, my uncle was basically in charge of me. And growing up with him and just pushing me, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, I had so many activities, so much to do, but I realized now he was doing all of that so I could be exposed to something different. So I competition cheer. If there was any activity, I was in it. And for that, that's why I have such a I have a wide bandwidth for things now.
Right.
So when people are like, how do you do all this? I'm like, this is a cakewalk.
Right. That's really a blessing that they did that, because you have a lot of people that they don't put. It's so funny. They always say to keep a kid out of trouble is to keep them busy.
Keep them busy. I was never boy crazy because I was always too busy. Yeah. So growing up and then working in a salon, my uncle was a stylist. So I never even realized how poor we were, because my uncle was a stylist. He made money every day, and he was a cake daddy.
Right.
But he was conditional. So his love wasn't conditional. How he spent his money was conditional. So if you don't do it the way I want it done, then I'm not paying for it. And so my uncle had me in all of these things, but they were very expensive. And my grandmother was just like, what are y'all doing? And my uncle said, don't listen to her. She doesn't know any better. And she did it because she operated based on cost. Everything had to do with what something cost. And so I learned very early on, if you invest in something or someone, your ROI is much better if you bet on the right horse. My uncle just happened to bet on the right horse, which was me.
Interesting. So it's so funny how when people grow up also too with parents and being raised by and parents can be anybody, obviously, like your grandmother or your uncle.
Absolutely.
They say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So with that being said, I'm assuming that you got into the hair business because of your uncle.
I did and I didn't.
Okay.
He taught me how to fish. So when
Okay.
I was in college, I worked at a hair salon. Wasn't supposed to work at the hair salon. I did hair in college, just kind of on the side because it was something I always knew how to do.
And now, what college and what was your major?
So my degree is in finance. I thought I was going to move to New York, work on Wall Street. Never, ever thought I would do hair. Never.
Right.
Never. But I was making right at $60,000, $70,000 a year.
Crazy. In college?
In college, and my rent was $125 a month.
60 or 70 grand in college?
In college.
And then first of all, guys, when people are in college, they are working at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
okay, she's making 60, 70 grand in college. So, okay, now you're at Alabama A&M.
Alabama A&M University.
Alabama
and
A&M, yeah.
so when I graduated, I thought I was going to move to New York and work on Wall Street until I visited New York.
Right, you didn't care for it?
I was like, this? Like,
right.
I was in Alabama living in the lap of luxury.
Right.
This is worse than the trailer park I used to live in. But they were like, but it's New York. I said, I don't care.
Right, you're like,
I'm like, oh, so I don't care about that. I didn't
Right.
I'm a Southern girl. And so I dreamed of living in New York, but the New York I saw on TV. Not the New York that actually exists that most people can afford to live on a starter salary. So
so then you're in college.
Yeah.
You think you now, when you're looking at New York, you already graduated?
I'm graduating.
Okay, so you're
I'm getting ready to
graduating. So
graduate.
you're making all this money in hair.
Right.
You're graduating. So then what? You said you're gonna go.
So
do
it
what
was
now?
the first adult decision that I made that I realized I didn't need anybody else's permission. So
Okay.
if I could ever share anything with anybody, young, old, black, white, whatever, people are always waiting around for someone to give them permission to do
Right.
something. No one needs permission to make any of their bad decisions, but you need everybody's confirmation and
Right.
approval to make good decisions. And I realized I had been taking care of myself since I was 10. My grandmother never had to give me money after I was 10 years old. Once I made my first $500, I never needed money from her again because I realized that making my own money allowed me to have control.
So then you making your own money. So then what was the first? So then, I mean, you making all this money. I assume you didn't probably want to go work for anybody when you came out of
didn't.
college. So then what'd you do?
I didn't, so I
what
decided.
was the first venture?
So I had ice cream stands. There were slushy stands.
Really?
Yeah, but my first business at 10 was selling freeze cups.
So now what about after college?
Yeah, after college, I opened freeze. They were
What?
Yes, big business.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
You sold freeze cups?
No, well, I sold freeze cups when I was little, but after college, I had a smoothie stand.
Okay.
It was called Hawaii's Finest. I was branded, and I lived in Charlotte, and then I moved to Nashville when they got the Tennessee Titans. And so you could be in a lottery to get your concession stand
In the stadium.
In the stadium.
Ah.
Hated it. Hated Nashville. Everything about it. Like if I had a great week, then the next 2 weeks it was a rain out. And my
Okay.
life had just never worked like that. Things just, God parted the Red Sea for me. I
Right.
think everything that ever happened to me, as long as I was doing what I was supposed to do, everything just kind of always seemed to work itself out. And so I moved to Atlanta, found a salon. Within a year and 3 months, I opened my own salon in Buckhead.
Now, also, too, guys, just side note, how I actually seen Maja was through buses, billboards, and literally all the different salons that she owned. And her brand was called Walk In Weave. So I'm over here looking at this young woman that's on a billboard. Every time I'm sitting up over here at a bus stop, I just see this face just
We killed it. We
coming through.
Crushed
so,
it. Crushed
so
it.
I just want you guys to understand this beginning, right, to now you have some random person like me not even knowing who you are, and I can't help but see you every single day.
You can't come
everywhere.
You can't come
so
to Atlanta
you went
without
and
seeing
did
me.
a salon. Now, then you created a salon. So now, what was that salon called?
So that first salon was a Peel Hair Studio.
Okay.
From that salon, I owned that salon. I opened it in '98. I got my real estate license September 11th when the planes were crashing. When the planes were crashing, I got my license that day. And when I walked out, I said, I just hit pay dirt.
Yeah.
I knew it because I'm a student of history. I know that the government bleeds money when we're in war. So I started selling houses. I sold 44 houses my first year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But all to my clients.
Yeah.
All to the clients that I served in the salon. So my full circle moment and everything that I do now is all stems from being a working stylist in the beauty industry, because I know rich or poor, no matter their socioeconomic background, no matter their marital status, sexual orientation, everyone wants the same thing.
Yeah.
They want the same thing. They want to be loved, cared for, and they want to be secure. And home ownership was the pathway for that.
So multiple streams of income. So you're doing hair and you're making money in real estate.
Yeah.
So then what next after that? So then how did you start making the millions? I guess that's what I want to get to. Like where'd all that start coming?
I made my first $1 million selling real estate, not flipping houses, selling real estate one house at a time because of the way that I market.
That's insane.
My brother would say, he said, I don't know who has more billboards, you or BMF.
That's crazy. No, that's real. Guys, I'm telling you, it is real how many billboards this woman had.
But I did it. But you know what? It's because
did that help with your making money?
Oh, God, yes. But it was brand. So
Right.
a lot of people think when they come to me for all the things that I do now, oh, Maya, when you have a bunch of billboards like you, I was like, doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
Because think about it.
Time changed.
How many black people do you see on billboards that aren't for a big brand?
I see a lot of lawyers.
Right. Outside of that, how many black faces do you see on ads that aren't major corporations?
I can't think of any.
Exactly. So when this one person who owns a salon, at the time, I wasn't franchised. It was just me. I was the owner. So if you see me everywhere, you have to think, how is she doing this? So I branded so my competition couldn't. They couldn't outspend me because the way that I market, I've been in the outdoor advertising for 20 years, so I get rates that nobody can get.
So when you're outdoor advertising, you're saying because you were actually a client, or you're
Yes.
saying that because the fact
Because
that
I know how
you've been
to,
there for
it's
so
real
long.
estate. I know how to negotiate.
Right.
Yeah,
Got you.
it's real
Y'all,
estate.
She's a master negotiator.
No, master
Have mercy on my
negotiator.
soul.
But billboards are real estate.
Yeah.
Buses are real estate, and buses move. So they were better than a steel board. And so me growing a brand and growing it very, very quickly was me just investing in myself. So I invested in personal development because if you're in the beauty industry, you don't have a lot of people that think like you. Most stylists are artists.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be dealing with the business side of it, but I'm a business person. I ran my chair like a business. So when I went into real estate, I just took what I knew from beauty and applied it to real estate. Most realtors don't want to spend money on marketing and advertising.
Right,
When I
no,
went
it's
into a office, I said, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be number one. Like, I'm competitive. So I wanted to know, okay, what's the number? I just needed a target to hit. When I moved to another area, I said, I'm going to take over this area. You know, you can speak life over your life. And again, I didn't even know it when it was happening, but I was just always working.
Right. So I did want to ask
That's
you this side note as well. You were on reality TV. So now when you were on reality TV, were you selling real estate at the time where you were on reality TV as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like that probably may have helped you get a lot of business too, I assume.
It did, but you know what the reality show did for my business, and I told anybody, if you don't have a product to sell, do not go on a show. I have a hair company and I own salons. I have a drop ship company, so everything out of the hair business operates under one umbrella, but there are multiple businesses within a business. So you're clear. When you want a reality show, they don't film you working. They film you having conversation. So a reality show is the best thing I ever did for my brand, the worst thing to ever happen for my business. Because I couldn't be in my business filming 10 hours a day.
Right.
Like, imagine, you know how long we filmed these shows.
Right.
So imagine 6 days a week for 8 months. So that part changed me, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because it put me in people's living rooms. And to be in someone's living room, they get to know you.
Right.
And they feel like they know you.
Yeah, because I watched you, even, like I said, before we even met, and I was sitting on the billboards. I was like, wait, that's the lady that's on all the billboards.
Yeah.
And then now she's on a reality TV show. I was like, And I tuned in.
And
so,
guess
and
what?
I was tuned in, yeah.
And it was because of the billboards that I was on the reality show. I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. I wasn't supposed to be on the show. I wasn't interested in doing a beauty show. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
So they just reached out to you. They're like, hey,
yeah,
they
kept reaching out to me, and by them reaching out to me, my attorney was like, Maya, I think you have an opportunity to do something different, because she knows me. I was like, well, they're not going to change me, so I'm going to just smile and bat my lashes, like they're going to film what I have. And doing that show really catapulted me in a different way, because I realized that I can do all of the things that I do, but now I can get phone calls answered that I couldn't get before in other states without a PR person.
So, and I wanted to ask you, because again, this show is all about actually teaching people how they can go about and getting on the levels that, you know, you achieved. I know that obviously you're still achieving more different things. How many different businesses do you have, and just different streams of income? And maybe if you can kind of just lay it out for those people out there that want to say, okay, hey, I'm focusing on this particular business, but you yourself just outline, hey, well, I have multiple businesses. Just if you can educate the audience on your different businesses and different streams of income that you have.
So I think the easiest way for me to break it down is when you know your client niche, and I'm a very data-driven person, so if the same person or multiple people are asking the same thing over and over again, you know you have to fulfill a need. I became a realtor to get a license, but I sold to the same clients. Those same clients referred me other clients. In beauty, those same clients not only send me real estate clients, they send me other hair clients. They send me people who want to be in business, so I coach. And I've created a program. So full circle, where I am now in my life is the most rewarding thing I do is teach other individuals how to make money and to get out of their own way. Like we are in our head most of the time. And I'm like, I don't just tell you the good stuff. I've made millions. And I've lost millions, but I've made more than I ever lost. And being in a place now that financial literacy, I realized was the biggest component of our generation and this generation. Like they don't understand very basic things about how to get to the next level because people always leave out a part.
Right.
I didn't come from an era where you could miss a step because I didn't have a safety net. I had to do it right or I was going to lose. So I had to be careful, but I had to also be able to take risk. And so I always say, if you're scared, go to church.
Right, right.
So I pray about it, and I allow things to happen organically. I don't force relationships. And now I have from 32 YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I made a commitment in 2019 that I would make a complete commitment. After the show wrapped, I'd gone on the road with Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
Shout out to ET.
very
If you
much
ever
so.
want to feel like you can run through a wall, follow Eric Thomas. But from that experience, I realized that we all go through dips and we're like, I don't have my passion. Honey, you don't have to be passionate about it for it to be profitable. But you do have to find something that gives you purpose. And for me, I realized that I'm a problem solver, and that's easy for me. I just look at the numbers and break it down, and it's always been that way. So now I just use my gift, which is what comes easy to you is hard for others. So I break down the numbers and I help people grow their businesses. But what happened in financial literacy space, I started making videos. I took down all my billboards, took down every billboard, and I said, I'm just going to give out information. And by just giving out information, I did the same numbers and more. But now we have over $50 million in listings in affordable housing.
That's insane.
$50 million
in just your listings
in
alone.
my listings in affordable housing, and we have an initiative, How to Buy a Home Making $15 an Hour, where people who make $15 an hour can qualify for $250,000 to $300,000 in home with a mortgage rate of $1,000, 3% through the federal government, and these are all because applying the things that I did in my business, because I always think about women just like my grandmother.
You're helping people.
Yeah, but I'm not in the nonprofit business. I'm in the for-profit business, but I believe in people, and I want people to do well because people have always supported me.
Yeah.
That's my way of giving back, but I teach people how to fish, and I think for me, the money play is that's what that's about.
Yeah,
Teach
yeah.
them how to fish,
No,
and if
for
they
sure.
want it, they'll go after it.
And what I did want to know too is I think you laid out most of your journey as far as the big initiatives that you're doing right now. So just to make sure I got that right. So you have the $50 million just in listings.
And listings, affordable housing, because it's not affordable anymore.
No, yeah,
it's not affordable
it's crazy.
anymore.
The market's crazy now.
Yeah.
And then you have the trailer park
Yeah.
that you're doing.
Yeah.
Then you got the coaching program of helping people as far as how they can achieve their full potential.
Grow and scale their businesses.
Okay. And is there anything that I'm missing, anything that we left out?
No, we're going to be breaking ground on a couple developments. I work with nonprofits and USDA programs to bring affordable housing to areas that they didn't even know this was possible. So that's my big, big goal. I told my office, I said, I'm going to win a Nobel Peace Prize. And they said, huh? I said, I'm going to eradicate poverty through home ownership, and I'm going to show you how.
And
that's all you need to do. You just need to bring about change. It only takes one person.
Right.
My one uncle changed not just my life, but think about all the lives that I've changed by just showing other women and men. I have my male clients kill it, but just showing people how to think bigger. Like that was one person. He wasn't brave enough to go after his dreams. My uncle died at 29. Yeah, my uncle died at 29, but he gave me everything I needed to go out here and just, again, this all started from an idea on a DM from what? IG.
Yeah.
And we're here today.
Yeah, we're here today.
So.
I mean, well, you have an amazing story, and again, we're going to tap into a lot of different things and ideas as far as just her journey throughout this whole process of us giving you the money play, but we're going to take a break, and then we're going to get back so she can interview
I can have Justin in the hot seat.
We've got eyes on the suspect. Repeat, suspect has arrived. Over. Suspect has the bag. Repeat, suspect has the bag. There's got to be more than just 60-second brown kits in that bag. We have to catch her this time. Control, be advised, I'm staying on her. Send in backup units. Control, do you copy? Where's my backup? We're about to lose her. The plane's in the air. She's gone. We just lost her again.
Atlanta, Decatur, Stone Mountain, Snellville, and Gwinnett. Tired of paying for overpriced hair you can't reuse and tangles? Pretty Hair on Memorial Drive is Inside Walk-In Weaves. We carry 100% virgin body wave, loose wave, deep wave, silky, and kinky, plus closures and frontals. Hair prices start at just $50, and bundle deals are available. We're open Sundays till 5. Purchase hair, have it installed on site. Call today at 470-428-4982.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bush, mortgage lender with Southern First Bank, and I know the mortgage loan process can be overwhelming. If you're thinking about buying or building a new home or refinancing your existing home, I would love the opportunity to connect with you and hear what your goals are so that I can help you achieve them. My team and I are so excited to walk you through every step of the process and provide you with our client-first experience. Call me today or visit our website, southernfirst.com/Catherine with a K, and I can't wait to meet you and talk through the process with you.
Welcome back to the Money Play.
where we give you the game so you could run the play.
Playmakers here today. So, Justin.
I guess it's my turn.
It is, you are in the hot seat.
Woo! Oh
You
my
are
goodness, I love being in the hot seat.
You are in the hot seat. So, top fun manager who I have followed on IG probably about 4 years. I started following Justin, and I just always loved your energy. Always loved your
Vice
energy.
versa. You got good energy too.
No, but for real,
Vice
like
versa.
you were always just, great
I be
energy,
sweating my
giving
butt
him backstory. He just now carrying some bricks around. I'm like, child, go somewhere with them bricks.
All white bricks.
Always look like he about to go work out, but on a job site. But you know what?
Hey, it don't be fake now. It be real now.
I know, no cap, for real. But I do want the audience to know. I was always fascinated by your story, you and your brother, and when we finally met, I was like, how'd your parents get that right? 2 out of 2,
Yeah.
100%ers? So give me some backstory.
Okay.
Who
Sure.
is Justin Giles?
So my name is Justin Giles, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. And pretty much, guys, it's a lot. So my parents, growing up, they just groomed me and my brother to be entrepreneurs. My brother's not here, but he has his own healthcare business. I'm a real estate guy. And we literally were raised, if you were asking my parents right now, they said, look, you guys had no choice but to be entrepreneurs. And the reason why is my parents built an international computer company from their basement. So literally growing up as a baby, my mom was also a real estate broker. So when my parents were acquiring properties to get rents, right? And then they were growing the internet technology company from the basement, I always saw how important it was to have 2 streams of income. So then, as I'm growing up, my parents now had me working in this internet technology company because my brother and I were supposed to take it over. So that was the goal. So they raised us, and this is the thing that a lot of families should aspire to do, and you see a lot with different cultures, is that parents or a family will build a business. Like, let's say you have a restaurant, right? And then they build a restaurant up, becomes a big restaurant, and then the kids hopefully would take it over. In this particular case, instead of a restaurant, it was an IT company. So we had the IT company, and me and my brother were groomed to take it over. So I went to Cornell, I majored in economics, and my goal was to take the company public. My brother went to Georgia Tech, he majored in management information technology. He was gonna run the tech side of things. So I was gonna run the business, he was gonna run the tech side of it. And unfortunately, when I was in college, my parents ended up getting divorced. So when that divorce happened, it was a pretty rough divorce. And when I came out of college, my brother had to start from scratch. So as a result, and this is the thing, I still am super happy how everything turned out. Because
But in the moment, how was that?
Well, you know what? In the moment, it was a bit rough. Because even being groomed to take over a business, I would say it was more so rough for my brother because he was the firstborn. So it was kind of like, yes, hello, Hakeem. You are going to be the king of this. I'm just playing.
And that's all he had. That was his aspiration. It's like, now what do I do?
Yeah. So in that aspect, you know, he was more so like, hey, well, you know, what am I going to do? And me, I was at Cornell, I was econ major. I'm saying, hey, well, I'm just a business guy in general. So, you know, I'm just going to just figure out I can do any type of business. But what I'm super happy about, even though my parents did get divorced, I was happy that I was raised the way I was raised amongst entrepreneurs. And the thing is this, and I'm going to be completely transparent. So you and I have different backgrounds. So my parents were millionaires when I was 10.
I know.
So I'm technically 2nd generation millionaire. So now at this point, and now I'm proud of it because I think a lot of people, they feel that, you know, hey, I started from the bottom, now I'm here. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the goal should be for kids to stand on the shoulders of their parents and of their grandparents. So my family came from sharecroppers. So my dad's side, they were picking cotton on the farm. My mom's side, they were factory workers, you know, working in the factory. So they came from really humble beginnings. So I said, okay, well, guess what? If my parents could be millionaires, from that, then I have no excuse but to even be exponentially better than them. So growing up, being raised by those 2 amazing, powerful people, you know, I just had some really good role models to look up to. Now, let's go ahead, fast forward. So at 19, my parents get divorced. It was just really messy. And I won't get too in detail in it, but I didn't have the support that you would think a 2nd generation.
No, but we do. But because we are a transparent show, I think those are we can't leave out those parts because when people get a divorce, and I had a very nasty one myself with no children involved. It's like when those emotions get involved, nothing else matters, and you don't realize that you can burn something down that took decades to build, and there are casualties of war. And so having to figure it out when really there was no reason for you to figure it out. You're going to Cornell, you're Ivy League. Like, we know what this costs. Like, so to have to go through that, I always tell people, my broke ain't your broke. So having $80,000 a year tuition expenses, that's a whole different level that you gotta, if the money is funny, the money is getting funny. You still have to figure it out. Your mom and dad, you all figured it out. And at 19, I want the audience to know, how does a 19-year-old say, you know what, I'm not going to be bitter, I'm not going to drop out, I'm going to keep going? Because a lot of kids use that as an excuse.
So I actually graduated from Cornell early.
Yes,
I
early.
was like, look, so me, I was always a hard worker, and I knew what, my mom graduated from North Carolina A&T in 3 years. So when my mom graduated in 3 years, I said, well, you know what? I'm going to graduate from college early, too. The only reason why I didn't graduate from Cornell in 3 years is because they had a 5-year MBA program, and I was saying I'll apply to that. So I went and worked on Wall Street, did investment banking, and internships so that I can have that stuff in my resume. But either way, long story short, my parents got divorced, and that business wasn't there anymore. And it was a super bad divorce to where, to be completely transparent, my father and I didn't talk for 9 years.
Oh, my.
So from 19 to 28, like, I was already riding a Bentley at 28.
Right.
Then, like, when me and my father talked. Now, we've since then reconciled, but saying all that to be said is that coming from, I was always that rich kid growing up to where, like, I didn't have any cash.
Right.
So it's so funny. People are like, well, Justin, man, you've been had money. I'm like, look, my parents had it.
Those were it's like
my
this.
Parents
It's
had
like the
that
Cosby
money.
Show used to tell them, this is our money, not your money.
Listen, so my parents had that money, right?
Right.
And then me and my dad didn't even talk.
You're like, I can't even go to
mom,
money
I
bag.
can't go to him. And my mom had money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she was going through it. The market crashed. She got hit hard.
Right.
So it wasn't there. So now I come from this, amazing background, but I'm starting from scratch. But essentially, I didn't really start from scratch because I had the information.
You had the foundation.
So then when I came out of school, I said, look, I can't work for nobody, man. Bump that. Hell no. Let me go ahead and work for myself.
Ain't doing that one right there.
Because I just wasn't used to it. And to be also transparent, I had a lot of racial experiences working on Wall Street, working at other different internships.
Right.
So when I came out of college, I said, look, I worked for this one company for 4 months. The company's called Cintas. And I quit after I did my first real estate deal. And the reason why I got into real estate is because when I came out of college, I graduated 05, I was supposed to be 06. And everybody, how it was, everybody balling in real estate back then. I mean, people out there doing it. I saw all these guys, and women just really being successful. So I said, hey, let me get into real estate.
Right.
So came out of college, me and my brother did our first real estate deal. I made 25 grand, quit my job after I made that 25 grand. And also too, that's all I had. So FYI, I don't have any cash but 25 grand. Because keep in mind, like, that wasn't my money.
That 25 was just your first 25.
That's all I had. That was my first deal, so I quit. So me and my brother quit our jobs, and I said, okay, we're gonna do this full time. So then, fast forward, we go buy a house. We buy a house, and it was not necessarily the best neighborhood. That deal then started not working out. So then we built a house. Now, the deal's still not working out, but we built a house. This is now 2007, right? 2006, 2007.
Starting to get...
Right when the crash about to happen,
Starting to get a little sketchy in the market.
So me and my brother did the one deal. After that, I realized and looking up, damn, I haven't made money in like a year. So I'm living off my credit cards.
Right.
We spent all the money, that 25 grand went quick.
Oh, that 25 is
You know,
gone.
like, you're 21, you out partying, dating, that go fast.
What was you doing? Don't skip over.
Partying and dating.
Partying and dating is
Partying
expensive.
and dating.
Yeah, dating is expensive. Dating is
now,
expensive.
all that money got spent, all right? So I made money in a year. My credit shot. Because I'm living on my credit cards, and my credit cards are paying for my credit cards.
Right. You're
so
maxed out.
The market crashes.
Oh.
All right. So 2008 happened. The market crashes. Now I have a foreclosure.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I got a short sale on my credit. My credit is probably as low. I think I had like, I don't know. It was definitely in the 4s. I didn't even check it. It was so bad.
It was no reason to check it.
I got all the foreign people calling me trying to figure out, how I'm gonna pay these bills.
Right.
So then I come to my mom. I said, Mom, actually I didn't ask her for any money. Don't get me wrong. But Mom's like, yo, you got to do something because this ain't working. You got to go back to work.
This ain't working.
And I'm like, I'm not about to go back to work for these folks. Bump that. I ain't working because I'm too trained at this point to not work for anybody.
You didn't train me to work.
I enjoy my freedom.
Yes.
So at this point, I say, okay, well, I got figured out. So that's when I got backed into a corner. And what's interesting, guys, is that some people, when they grow up privileged, and this is one thing that I'll tell people in the audience out there, growing up privileged, you can have a kid grow up privileged, but you have to show them how to work.
Right.
So even though my parents were millionaires as I was a little, kid, and they built that. Now, this is the thing. Even when we moved into our mansion in Buckhead, so I grew up in like a $2.5 million mansion in Buckhead, right?
Back then.
And I'm proud of that.
Back then.
Hey, I'm proud of that, right? Like some people be like, man, you ain't from the hood. I'm like, yo, first of all, one of the biggest problems that certain people have is trying to make it seem like coming from the hood
we're not aspiring
is
for
where
that.
it's at.
That's not aspirational.
You have people that will grow up in my same neighborhood and be like, nah, I'm hood, man. I'm from the hood. Like, bro, like.
You went to Riverwood.
Dude. So either way, the whole point is that I was always proud of what my parents accomplished.
Absolutely.
But my parents made sure that I knew how to work. So when we grew up in this house, who was cutting the grass? Me. Who was washing all the windows? Me. Who's cleaning out the pool with me? And we had the business. Who is out there making sure we moved all those heavy computers around? Me and my brother. Who is out there cleaning up, sweeping up all the rooms? Me and my brother.
Wow.
Who couldn't buy? I've never owned a pair of Jordans in my life.
Are
you know
you
that?
serious?
My parents wouldn't buy it for me. Go work. I'm not paying $20 for the shoes. Go get that shit yourself.
Are you
right? Dead
serious?
ass. So everything expensive that I had as a kid, my parents made me work for it. So that way I can go pay for it myself.
You spent your money different.
I spend my own money. So then if I'm getting paid $5 an hour and I'm working a week, and that week I only get paid, let's say $100-something bucks.
After
You
that-
think I'm gonna spend a week's worth of work on shoes? No,
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So the thing is that growing up with that mentality, my parents making me understand the value of money, I then realized, okay, you know what? There's something more to this. So
Right.
then when I actually started working for myself, and then I started realizing that I got to get out of this corner because my credit shot, I got to figure it out.
fight my way out. How did you do it?
So I ended up getting my real estate license. So I'm back to this corner. I'm like, okay, and I had to think to myself, well, my mom's a real estate broker. She's always been a real estate broker. So I got my real estate license. And when I got my real estate license, in the first 6 months, I got my license in June. From June to December, I made 54 grand. Yes, and now listen to the thing. Let me say this. The reason why I was so proud about that is because the job that I quit, that I had when I came out of college for 4 months, was paying me $42,500 a year. And I told myself that I can outdo any salary somebody pays me.
Right.
So for me to work on my own
For 6 months.
for 6 months to make 54 grand,
Right.
that was great. But let's backtrack. So let's fast forward. So then the next year, the whole year though, from January to December, I made I think like 56.
What happened?
So it's not
Slow
like
down.
so it's not like
you took your foot off the gas.
Well, hear me out. So I was still happy,
Right.
Because I still consistently was able to take care of myself,
Right.
right? So then the year after that, it just started progressing and progressing, and then I added investing to it. So
Wow.
one thing that I just really started learning after having the foreclosure, the short sale, trying to invest, is I learned what not to do.
That's
And
what
then
you do.
I learned how to make money off of losses. And then having the background of working on Wall Street and then
Right.
having that econ major, I said, okay, not only can I make money off of losses, but I can also profit off of these big hedge funds. I can also develop strategy that
Right.
people don't even really know.
Right.
And the strategies that I developed were really for me just falling down like,
From
you know,
from your
like-
losses.
like
From your own losses.
literally falling on my butt
And not just taking theory. I think that's what a lot
Yeah.
of people do. They think, oh, I read it in a book, so it can happen. When you
Yeah.
tell someone you can do it with zero money down, you know from your own experience
Yeah.
how I leveraged what I know
Yeah.
on the
So-
back end and on the front
Yeah.
end.
So the thing is, what I did is when I was building myself up, I had to think to myself, how can I make money out of air? Like, how can I make money with nothing? So that's when I got the license, right? But then after I had the license, I said, okay, the market's down. When the markets are bad, guys, people aren't getting loans.
Yeah.
I just want that to be clear.
Yeah.
You don't have people getting loans easily,
Right.
right? So how am I selling all these houses? So I started just finding crazy deals.
Investors.
And then I was finding investors, and then I started learning how to pick up deals super cheap, because when the market crashes, deals were silly cheap.
People
And what
are
was
scared.
People
People are scared.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
People were so scared. They're like, well, I'm waiting for the bottom to drop. And me, I
Keep
looked
waiting.
at, there's an equation,
Yeah.
right? People want a certain rate of return.
Right.
So I would go find deals, and I would literally start selling them to hedge funds. So I was doing all types of cool stuff. And next thing I know, like, dang, I'm making 6 figures consistently, right? But then after that, I said, well, I got to start investing.
Right.
So then I started investing, and then I started buying property. Then people were like, how are you making so much cash
Right.
when this real estate market is the worst ever?
Right.
And I said to
It's
myself,
the worst for you.
yeah. And I said to myself, I'm like, yo, like, what are you talking about? It's the worst ever. This is the best opportunity for somebody to build wealth in a
Right.
generation.
But you know what that comes from, right? Your econ major. I'm a finance major. Economics and finance, we have to know the history and the cycles. And those are the things, when people say they hate college or, oh, college is, listen, for all those who don't go, you don't have to. But there are some things that you learn in that education piece that
Yeah.
applies to your trade skills that you can't learn anywhere else. Like you can't even, you don't even know the language to use. Most people aren't even confident enough to go to a hedge fund. They think that's too big. You worked for them, so you know you can just call them.
yeah.
They have a
And
job just like you do.
And I work for some of the biggest Wall Street banks, like out there.
Right.
So when I saw what their buy box was, and what a buy box is what their criteria is for buying property. And then even still, when it comes to them securitizing their different pools of loans or how they'll even invest in the stock market, I saw what type of rates of returns they wanted. So when I would go see a house for $8,000, first of all, that's just silly cheap. If you can buy a house for $8,000, you rent out for $1,000 a month, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
A no-brainer. You have people out there like, oh, it's $8,000. I'm like, yo, bro, you can make $1,000 a month off this house.
Right.
It pays for itself in 8 months. You foolish.
Rent never went down. Rent never went down. Rent never went down.
Never went down.
You're right.
But so either way, like, I started my own hedge fund. So I started just beating out all these funds. Like my returns were insane.
Oh,
they were
wow.
crazy. So then people were just trying to just give me money. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with people's money anymore. Right? So even though I have a hedge fund, man, I paid off all my investors. I don't even deal with them because I don't like owing people money.
Right.
And I was like, I can keep all the profits for myself. So then I was like, you know what? I'll deal with a few family members, but outside of that, I'm closed off to the public. Nope. And I started investing my own cash, and that's when I started just banking and banking.
Because it's your money.
It's my money.
Yeah. You're going to go find the best deal.
Yeah. So then I started doing all types of cool projects while maintaining my license. So one thing that's really important for you guys to understand, and I touched on it with Maja, is having multiple streams of income. So I concentrated heavy in real estate. I had never left real estate when I got in there around, when I started around 2006.
Right.
But I learned all these different trades and strategies, and I said, okay, well, I can make money as an agent.
Right.
I can make money as an investor. I can make money as a developer, right? Then I started building property. Now I'm building a mixed-use development. Then I started building.
Let's not skate over that. Let's not skate over this mixed-use development.
Yeah.
I've seen the schematic. I've seen the rendering. What made you do that? And what is your vision for that? Because that's a huge deal. That's a pretty big deal because, and we just have to be honest, ownership for African Americans is the same as it was in 1968. And it's all because of fear. And so you're like, I lost on $100,000 deals. Let me go up to $100 million. It's the same thing. It's the same credit hit.
Yeah,
right?
and what's crazy is that I don't even have to put down money in a sense
Really?
to even build it because I already own the land, which I acquired back when the market crashed using my commissions. You see what I'm saying? So it comes full circle. But what's even cooler though is when you're talking about making $1 million or $100 million or whatever the case may be, is all the different strategies that I learned literally came from just making money without even using your own cash. And then once you even get the cash, you can then start scaling and scaling. But after that, I just figured out, okay, there's so many other different streams of income. So I counted the other day, and I kind of counted about maybe 17, 18 different streams of income that I have. And technically, it's all through real estate.
Yeah, let's not leave out, you got the construction company that you do construction for other people because you have a team,
I mean, it's a lot.
Things.
It's a lot. But I counted 17, and it's all real estate related streams of income. So I just started scaling and scaling. And after I knew it, I looked up, like my portfolio was heavy. And I'm not even sharing it with anybody. One of the greatest achievements that I have, truly, even outside of all of that, is my mentorship program because I literally have helped so many people really achieve financial freedom through like me teaching the stuff that I had to go through. And what's so cool, and it's so funny, man, like I'll see people, they'll have programs and they don't want people to be better than them.
I hate that.
They're like, well, I'm gonna teach you enough, but not as much as you need to be better than me.
I'm gonna leave out some parts.
Nah, like for me, like I had a mentee, he made $100,000 in November.
Wow.
Him and another mentee partnered up, not even using cash, just wholesaling.
Wow.
And then I've had mentees that are doing developments now too, that are building subdivisions, that are renovating a ton of houses. And it's really fulfilling because I feel like, you know what, I've been through a lot, but that was God putting me through that so that I can then be used as a tool to teach other people how they can attain crazy success. So it's just a blessing, and I'm just, happy and honored that I can still help people to get wherever they want to be at. But I mean, it's just something that I feel like this show is going to be an extension of our different ways that we help people, because not only does Maja help people, I help people, but that's how we got to here, because we said, you know what? There's more to real estate. There's more to all the different,
it's more to business.
There's so many different businesses.
All these businesses are transferable, and like my business started from beauty, and from beauty, real estate, and came back to beauty, and all of it's always a full circle moment. And for you, losing is how you really, really learn how to win. But all of the foundation, my foundation was desperation and poverty. Your foundation was entrepreneurship was instilled in you.
Yeah.
And I think if they can learn anything from us or our guest is they don't leave out the parts where we screwed up, where we got skinned alive, where we messed up, and you can actually learn more from your losses. Don't you realize that, like, you've learned more and made more money off of it when you lost than on your gains?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And the thing is that that's why this show is so important. That's why we're bringing this to you. Is there's so many different people that failed. Yeah. And we have to learn from people's mistakes. Now, people are learning from my mistakes that are doing great. People learn from your mistakes that are doing great. But guess what? Now we're going to bring a bunch of other amazing people to you, and you're going to learn from them.
I'm so excited about our guests that our lineup is just,
crazy.
When you guys see, like, the promo that will be rolling and you see who's coming on this stage and sit at this table with us, and it's all from relationships and people that want to share information, but what is so great about our story to me, Justin didn't even know it. I didn't know it. We were filming, and he called his mom's name, and I looked back at her, and your mother basically is responsible for a huge part of my success, and she never even knew it by just telling me to do one thing.
What'd she tell you?
Your mom told me to go buy a Benz. His mother told me to go buy a Benz when I was 24, owning my first salon. So that technology company that she built out of the basement
was across the street from her salon.
Was across the street from my salon.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered all these years, like, I wonder what happened to her. I wonder what happened to her. We meet on IG. What are the chances of you being her son?
That was divine.
And it was divine. And so this show is about bringing you all the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship, but also teaching you the game so you can go run the play. You can go run any of these plays in any market USA. We're making money in big markets, small markets. I'm in Ashburn, Georgia. Ashburn, small town, real estate market through the roof. So thank you, Justin.
No. And also, this is the thing, too, to add on to what you were saying, is we want you all to be able to watch this show at home with your family, with your kids of any age. We're going to do our best to keep our mouths nice and 100% for the most part.
PG-13. PG-13.
But we want you to watch this so that your children can be inspired, so you guys can be inspired. Because at the end of every episode, you will have a play that you can run and literally start making money. And you don't have to have a bunch of money in your bank account. Yep. You don't have to have a crazy fancy education.
Nope.
A lot of people even on the show didn't go to college. Right? But we want you guys to really pay attention and run these plays so you can really see how it can change your life.
We want to change your life, and we cannot wait for you to go on this journey with us. It is The Money Play. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to it on all audio platforms. This podcast, we want to be #1 for entrepreneurs so that they can know that if we can do it, you can too.
Yes.